Well. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night, wherever you may be on this fantastic Tuesday morning, Tuesday evening, Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night. It just depends on where you are currently on this spinning globe we call Earth. Today at Sketching Past Midnight, your humble host, somewhat humble, CB Smallwood, is equipped with a nice bottle of Sam's purified drinking water, guaranteed to flush out the sugar for all your diabetic needs. So let me go ahead and sip that. So we're going to be finishing up page 20 of my contribution, singular contribution, I guess, whatever you want to call it, of the Wildcat anthology. I've also got a few other things that we may flip through to kind of make things more entertaining. Again, I apologize because I have no cryptid news, no ghost news, no paranormal news, no horror news, no pop culture, sci-fi, comics news to entertain and regale you with. I just really instead of like focusing on just pure entertainment, my wholesale state of mind, state of thought is on trying to get this done. Let me get my ink pen, okay? That's how prepared I am. All right, I got my ink pen, got my pencil. I just want to thank everybody that is tuning in now live. And also for those of you that will be watching the replay, I really, really appreciate that. And, all of you make this stuff fun for me to do. I've always wanted to do, and I've mentioned this before, I always wanted to be part of, the studio system. And, like what they had in the 90s with Extreme Studios, Wildstorm Studios, um, I mean, you name it, all that stuff. I guess, what do you call it? Todd McFarlane Productions, and never got to be part of that whole scene. And it would have been so cool just to have like artists and inkers and letterers and colorists. The whole team, slow of people just sitting right there next to you, and you're just making comics together, and you're pushing each other to be better than what you were. And I think that's fantastic. And for me, when I do these live streams, that is the equivalent of that. When Yins sometimes give me pointers or whatever, and uh, also I want to say off the bat before I forget, and this just hit me really strong. I was trying to get caught up on a lot of stuff. And so I just want to let Mr. RJ Johnston know that I am going to write you back tonight. I'm going to do that tonight. So I apologize in the delay in that. I'm so behind on that stuff, so bad. Oh man. Okay. What else do I have on my mind here lately? Well, okay. The big news for anyone that's interested. Uh, Someone in my household has the COVID. They've got the COVID, and they are worried to death, scared, scared. It's like, what do you do other than just lay around and take your medicine, right? And I try to reassure her, let her know that, in my opinion, I think we've all, not every single human being on earth, but like vast majority of us have probably had COVID more than once now. Sometimes we felt really bad, thought it was something else. And maybe sometimes, I don't know, didn't even know it, you know, been like a courier or something like that. But yeah, my dear sweet wife, she has the COVID, and she is very nervous about it, very scared. No, she wants everybody to know about it, but I guess, it ain't like something to be ashamed about. I don't think it should be like a um, state secret or anything like that. Thankfully, I'll be prior to this whole thing. I'm off work for like 2 weeks, and my son is, you know, not in school uh, for that same amount of time. Christmas break or whatever. So that worked out, great in our benefit, I guess. Um, let's see. What else do I got to add? You enjoy me drawing these beer cans? You like that? So, for anyone that asked or is curious, pretty much her symptoms is she's got like unbelievable back pain, headache, that sort of thing, slight cough, running a temperature, and just feeling miserable. Basically, well, like pneumonia, like symptoms, that type of thing. But she's doing good. Temperatures come down. She's loaded up on medicine. Got her quarantined in another room. You come near me. But yeah, she's doing fine. She's doing good. Other than being scared by the whole thing, which is understandable. Um, let's see here. What else? What else do I got to report? Well, I'll skip these beer cans for a second, and I'll show you something else that I've been working on this page. Now, I had this big dilemma with um, this through here, what to do. I really wanted to black out this wall because I thought it added nice contrast. But the problem is, even though I'm being kind of hypocritical because I'm a big believer in just like you don't have to be super realistic with your colors, because it's all about uh, doing stuff, in my opinion, that looks cool and makes your characters pop or your scenes pop. But sometimes if things are a little too unrealistic, it becomes noticeable, and so I want to avoid that. In this case, I got light coming through the window, and I'm thinking that what camera, I got light coming from this lampshade, and so I got these two light sources right here, and so my thoughts is that that I'm going to have the wall be illuminated here, but there is still like some shadow here. So I was going to do maybe some fancy cross hatching and then maybe black out this area a bit. I don't know. It just depends how brave I get. So again, I'm afraid to actually spot some solid blacks. I'm just going to do some fancy cross hatching and do the same thing on the ground. I'm going to do that too on the ground. And so that's going to be my approach, how I chose to fix the page. I think it'll turn out looking pretty good, in my opinion. So there you go. Let me drink some more of my Sam's Purified, guaranteed to flush out the sugar water. I tell you what, diabetes sucks. Now, I'm not saying I'm a diabetic, okay? since we're on subjects of medical nature. But I do have a little bit of sugar problems, you know. And there's nothing like water to flush all that sugar out. Okay, enough chitter chatter. Let's get back to slapping on some minks. This marker that I'm using, it's actually like a dry erase thing. I use everything. I use everything and anything. I'm not very super professional, but I find that, you know, as I make more comics over time, I start to get a little bit more professional, and I become horrified by my prior tactics of how I've made comics before. And this is probably going to be one of those times when I look back and like, oh man, I can't believe I used a dry erase marker to ink a comic. Why would I do that? Do 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 do. But I don't know. I just not comparing myself in a sense of greatness or anything, but maybe in mindset. You know, I may have a little bit of the Jack Kirby mindset. I just need to get stuff done. You know, and which reminds me, um, you know, Jack Kirby. He used to have this one inker that inked him for a long time, Vince Coletta. I think that's what his name is. And I hope Vince Coletta never watches my videos if he happens to be still alive. I'm sorry to be all morbid, Mr. Vince, if you're watching this. But I never was a fan of Vince Coletta's inks because he just kind of he kind of slopped stuff down on there. You know, he didn't really put no real effort. He was the go-to guy to to just get stuff done quickly. You know. And so, you know, if you wanted stuff done quickly, you went to him. If you wanted artsy fartsy, you went to somebody else. That's just how it was. Hmm. Yeah, that's looking like a pop can. At least I think so. Hope so. Or beer can in this case. Let's put this cord here. It's going to go right underneath that. I'm going to do a little happy cord. Oh boy. There we go. I don't know. Let's see. I think maybe a little bit of that. Not exactly sure. I shouldn't probably be shading things without knowing what I'm actually doing, but I am trying to get it done. I need to move on to some other things that I need to pencil and ink and the whole 9 yards. At some point, I need to start working on the Wildcat cover. You know, start getting that done. Having a little bit of trouble with that stuff, you know, because you want to do like a really good cover. All right, doing decent, doing decent. Okay, there we go. Man, I really messed up this the bottom of this lamp. It looks wonky as all get out. Ain't that a soothing sound? All right. I think what I'll do now is rather than just going ahead and actually ink drawing or draw inking, I don't know what you would call it, where you're basically drawing with an ink pen. I'm going to try to use my handy dandy found laying on the floor technical pencil and try to render this table just a little bit better, And I'll use something that I used to not be too fond of, which is a ruler. Used to not like using a ruler. I'm still not like 100% sold on the use of a ruler, but but let me tell you, I've learned that to enjoy using a ruler because I don't know, when I first start, when I got a blank page of paper and maybe I ain't got it all figured out, I don't know half of what I'm doing, that sort of thing. I can measure out my borders, and I already got the measurements down. I always do like I don't know if you can see that, but what is that? Half an inch. It's like I do half an inch borders all the way around, and there's something soothing and therapeutic about drawing that. Let's see, how am I going to do that? It looks like I kind of, and I just gotta trust my line work there. Just kind of roll with it. And so, just drawing borders has been a therapeutic thing for me, and it's helped me to grow a love and appreciation for using a ruler. And the other thing is, I don't know if you remember this from the other night, but sorry, this panel down here, I had actually roughed out, with my pencil, and this was like a rough estimate of where the panel was at. I did a rough sketch of the interiors of the panel or whatever, and so basically, you know, I rough out my panels first, and then I'll take my ruler, and then I'll just kind of pick a measurement that looks pretty close to how I roughed out, and then I'll just kind of do that all the way around. And before, I used to get so technical. I tried to do things in reverse. I would actually try to measure out first and everything like that. But I feel like if you just rough your panels out first, I mean, I'm probably talking about stuff that kids who got the rough basics of comics down understand right away. Comics 101. But roughing out the panels first and doing it that way, it's just so much better for me. And then coming in later and adding the details and stuff, or tidying it up with a ruler. Let me say it that way. And I love this blue eraser. It used to this was something else I just found laying around. It was given by a church group for kids, but the kids never got to it. I got to it first. It used to say Jesus Saves on it, and it's long since been eradicated by my thumb. Wonderful blue eraser. Very flexible. Um, I like to find that again. That's a very handy tool, in my opinion. Camera, come on now. We don't need none of your crap tonight. Focus. Thank you. All right. So and do kind of like that business. Been studying J. Scott Campbell, especially his Gen 13 years, and he would do like these little sketchy things. I really like that. So that's what I'm going to do. The shading here is probably not entirely accurate, but it looks sort of right, don't it? A little bit, maybe. Cut me a little slack, possibly. All right. Ooh. Give me 1 second. All right. So we're about 22 minutes now into the video, and I thought it would be interesting to break this up, and we'll come back and then we'll link some more on this. Keep me from getting bored. Keep you from getting bored, dear viewer. So I figured what I would do is talk about this book, Superheroes: The Joe Kubert's Wonderful World of Comics. Actually autographed by Joe Kubert. I had bought that at a comic store a few short years ago. Now, those of you that are familiar with the Joe Kubert School, that grew up reading comics, getting them from the good old-fashioned, what do you call that? The spinner rack at your local gas station, mom and pop store, pharmacy. You would open up a comic book, and inside the comic book there would be an ad for the Joe Kubert School, and there would also be an ad, maybe the very same ad, where it would talk about they had these distant learning courses, which I always drooled over. Really wanted them really bad. It seemed like they were, I can't remember, there was like $99, something like that. They had one for horror. They had one for superheroes. They had one for inking. They had one for penciling, storytelling, villains, something like that. They had like 5 or 6 of them. I can't remember. Anyway, I just it was just too expensive for me, or maybe that's really just an excuse, because if you really want something, you'll find a way. You know what I mean? So so I got this for like, I can't remember. I think I got it for like $20 at a comic book store a few years ago, and I was like, wow, I'm gonna get that. And it's about this thick. It's got a nice, beautiful spine. It says Superheroes: Joe Kubert's Wonderful World of Comics. The back is just that. It came in a plastic wrap, which I tore off. I'm not interested in the collectability of it. I just, I wanted it as a fan to consume and maybe learn something from. We opened it up right away, and we got this big red thing. And this edition of Superheroes: Joe Kubert's Wonderful World of Comics is limited to 1,500 numbered and 26 lettered copies, of which this is copy 599. It's very nice lettering, by the way. And would have been cool to have 600, but I think it's just cool, just as cool to have 599. And there again, there's his autograph. So got 2 autographs. That's a nice touch. Very old school feeling paper, and then we get this very smooth, glossy kind of matte finish. It's a matte finish type of paper. And we zoom out here. We get all this. Really like how this page is laid out. I think that's pretty cool. I'll probably lift that and use that. Um, on this page, we get a dedication to Mural. Thank you for your inexhaustible patience and understanding. Acknowledgements. Thought this book was going to be easy. After all, I've been a comic book cartoonist most of my life. Who would know the subject better? I've learned, however, that doing a book and doing a comic book are two different things. My sincerest appreciation is hereby tendered to Sylvia Warren, the editor who's responsible for the form and the readability of this book. Our relationship was, for me, a positive learning experience. And then, a bunch of legal stuff down here. And then we get the contents, all this stuff. Are we focused, camera? Very, very nicely laid out book, in my opinion. We get this forward, kind of gives a little bit of history of Joe Kubert, and then a little bit about what you can expect out of this book. And then it goes into a history lesson about heroes and superheroes. So we're going all the way back to caveman times and early, history here. And then after we get that, we go straight into some ideas of like the prehistoric superhero. He shows you how to do a 3/4, a profile, and a down shot. We got, I guess that's Tor. Yeah, it's Tor. We got his interpretation of dinosaurs, which I think look really wonderful. Got a 2 scale Tor to a dinosaur. Cool looking head. Some Egyptian stuff. So you kind of get the gist. Well, we got stuff about medieval men, heroes from American history, Native Americans. Let me put the camera up a little bit more. Then we get the Wild West. We get war heroes and superheroes. And we get a breakdown analysis of what all a World War II, and I guess to some extent, probably a Korean war veteran would have some futuristic type of designs, future worlds. I like this War of the Worlds bit right here. And then there is, what is that? A Trip to the Moon. The 1902 film, A Trip to the Moon. Yeah. Let me answer some comments before I go any further. Our most excellent friend, Manya. Manya says, hello, friend. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you very much for tuning in and hanging out. But I know that sounds very insincere. I'm just a weird guy, but I was very sincere about that, by the way. I'm very glad that you're here. And today we're talking about, well, first, I'm working on this page that I'm inking for the Wildcat Anthology, which is page 20. I took a break from that to talk about this book that, focus camera, this book that you can get from the Joe Kubert School. It was one of their distance learning courses. This was a superhero one, and back in the day, they used to be $99. I don't know if they're like $130 now or something. And I got this like a couple of years ago at a comic book store for like $20 or something. Mind writes, it's all good. And how goes it? It's going good. It's going good. I feel like I'm being very productive with inking the Wildcat page. I'm looking forward to getting it done. you know, uh, the wife's sick. She's not doing too hot, but she's not doing too bad either. Other than that, I don't know. I feel like I'm just getting stuff done. I'm pretty pumped about that. And I tried to order a Wildcat hat. I had like the emblem, the Wildcat emblem and stuff on it, and it just never worked out because I got this. It's a tricolor sportsman hat, and everybody was sold out of it. All the places that did print on demand and that sort of thing. So that was a bit frustrating. And I looked really hard too. So now we're on page 26, and it says superheroes in 3 dimensions. And so now I feel like we're getting into some actual helpful tips on thinking about how you render a superhero in 3 dimensions and that sort of thing. We get some things talking about basic shapes, and I guess looking at light sources and that sort of deal, right? And over here we get a little bit into perspective. We got the horizon line, the vanishing point, perspective lines, and so there's a bit of talk about that. But then it skips through it pretty quickly, which is kind of disappointing. Perspective is something that I've not mastered yet, but but a lot of people that do it routinely, it can't be that difficult. You know what I mean? It's just something you have to sit down and take the time to learn and do. Here we get into the anatomy of the head. So I like this. This is something I feel like it's very valuable to this book. And then we get some suggestions on how to render stuff. We get full body proportions, and then he breaks down where you would possibly add shadows if you wanted to make things look 3 dimensional. And this is beautiful. This is gorgeous stuff here. It's this Hogarth, whatever that guy's name is, Hogarth. I don't know. There's like this famous artist who's known more for his how to draw human anatomy books than he was for his art career. He did draw, whoever that guy was named Hogarth. He drew Tarzan comics for a while, but more people know him for his anatomy books. And you can tell that Joe Kubert is studied those anatomy books hardcore. And this is pretty good. So his whole big thing for these past couple pages is all about thinking round. Now he's talking about exaggerating musculature. And then he's showing the muscles under stress. Either holding weight or picking up weight, lifting weight, flexing. We're getting into some feet and hands. Let's see. Focus, camera. Come on. The female superhero. I like how this turned out. I thought that was really nice. And this is pretty cool too. That's a cool pose. I like that. I love his legs. These legs right here are awesome. Pretty cool. Kind of puts me in mind of Frank Cho for some reason. Let's see. Let me answer a few quick comments. You're talking to a guy that can't draw stick figures, so don't sweat it. All right. Coot. Choo. That would be Bern Hogarth. Yes, thank you very much. I knew somebody would come to my aid. I'm glad it was you. I struggle really bad with like I know the names of things and stuff like that, but when I have to recall them at will, I always have trouble with that sort of thing. Very classic art anatomy. That's one of the things I'm wanting to get into. I started thinking about that more, about actually practicing drawing the skeletal structure um, of human anatomy. But the most I did of that was doing Ghost Rider, drawing his skull head. But that's, that's just one thing. Let's see. This one is entitled Emotion in Motion. Yeah. We're about halfway through the book. I'll probably skip through some pages. But here he's showing body language, different faces, concern, worry, fear, terror, superheroes in action. It's some pretty good stuff. I like seeing his layouts here for the comic book pages and stuff. I think that's pretty cool. And I love how this is something I'm trying to incorporate in my own work, of how for the longest time my art would kind of be like this, but more detailed. But I've been trying to do more of this, where I guess they call it spotting blacks or filling in blacks and stuff like that, adding shadows. Um, One guy that I picked a lot of that up from, or try to emulate, is Jack Kirby, because he would try to find a way, especially in the later half of his career, to find excuses to put shadows in places, because it just made things pop in such a cool way. I like that Muckman deal. Appreciating styles, talking about different styles of art, getting the ages right, from young to old, avoiding stereotypes, creating characters who are different. Cyborgs. Now he's just talking about character design in this later half of it. Let me skip through here. Supervillains. Super creatures. Backgrounds. sketch, and sketch some more. And I think he talks about using reference when it comes to the backgrounds. I like this, showing how to draw water, waves, fighting underneath water and stuff like that. Pretty cool. Landscapes and seasons, rendering trees and leaves, everyday objects, that sort of thing. Guns and swords. Drawing from a script, talking about the approach for that. Cityscapes and interiors. All right, so we're getting more into script and sketches. Talking about thumbnails on this one. Penciling is talking about feathering, cross hatching, that sort of thing. Type of pencils to use. So there are some good tips in this. talking about lettering. That's pretty cool. I feel like this book, along with How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, I think those two books, this book and that book together, um, is enough to really start to get somebody to get started making comics. Um, but I also recommend a third book, and I don't have it with me. I think I let somebody borrow it or something. I can't remember what it was, but it's this other guy who has like a gazillion art books out there. You know, he does a lot of manga stuff, but he also does like Western style of art in his books. And he did one just on anatomy, and it was just filled with tons of useful stuff, you know. Um, but I feel like this book and How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way can get people started on the right path. This gives some details that How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way doesn't, and then How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way goes into better details about things that this book kind of skims over. So they both complement each other well. My only gripe about this book, for the most part, is I don't think it's worth, you know, for the course, I don't think it's worth $100 or $130, whatever it is now. You know, I feel like since it's a hardback, you know, maybe like $40 or something like it at the most. $50 would be pushing it, but you know, like $100, a bit much. Manya or Minya writes, my brother had How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way growing up. Yeah, I remember when I first became exposed to How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way was in middle school. Somebody had checked that book out of the library, and I coveted it like no other. I did not know that something like that existed. I was like, wow. And then it was always checked out. And then one day, I managed to, you know, check the book out. It's fantastic. You know, it's, I don't know. There's just something so regal beagle about it that it was really cool. And it wasn't till probably like 10 years ago that I actually, you know, bought the book. You know, to be honest, I probably need to study that booger more. Okay, let's just slop some lines in here. That's always the way to go. People like it when you get sloppy with your art. They're more likely to buy it. That's sarcasm. I don't know. There's probably some artists that can just literally, you know, slop stuff out, and then it's just like the greatest thing ever. I'm not one of those guys. I don't have that level of talent. I tried to render this thing here as kind of like a wooden, you know, I don't know what it's called, like a not a headboard, you know, a footboard. I don't know. It's like it's like a thing sits near the ground, and it's got drawers in it, that sort of deal. I'm not trying to be too fancy with it, you know. I'm just trying to draw it and get it done. I think I've got enough on here to where, you know, everything looks good enough to where if I make a few mistakes, it won't be so bad. Maybe, I don't know. That's my theory anyway. That's what I'm going with. There we go. I really wanted that Wildcat hat that I was talking about earlier. Let's see, what is it? Vista Print or something like that. They had this really nice red and black tricolored sportsman cap that was is going to come out to be like $30 and something, that I could put the Wildcat logo on, and it looked like it was made just for that, and it looked pretty sharp. I was going to buy that and wear that to work, draw my comics at work, at home with that thing on. Maybe actually be on camera for once, you know. In other news, I've been thinking hot and heavy about, like different videos I was wanting to do to grow my channel and, just have fun and stuff. The most fun I have with YouTube is doing stuff like this with all you guys and gals. Just sitting here in a semi-studio atmosphere where I'm talking art, comics, life, just whatever pops in my head, whatever pops in your all's head. I love that. And but no, I was thinking about making some videos to grow my channel. I had done probably maybe like 4 or 5 videos that were like creepy pastas, where it shows me drawing comics and stuff. And I named those, Sketching Past Midnight. I just don't call them Sketching Past Midnight Live, And those did all right, Pretty much the people that watch my channel already were watching them, but nobody new actually watched those videos. Yeah, the YouTube algorithm, the way it's kind of set up, you have to do like, I don't know, maybe like 10 or 12 videos before it sees you as a expert in the field that you're covering, before it starts promoting your videos to where people can actually see it. And I kind of slacked off. I got one in the can that I kind of need to finish up just a little bit editing wise. But something else I was thinking about doing that might be a little bit easier on me than doing the creepy pasta videos or creepy drawstas would be giving advice and that sort of thing. It's like, what was I thinking? One of the biggest things, and I'm no expert on drawing comics. I just want to say that right away. But I do have a little bit of experience, and I've picked up things along the way. I study a lot of philosophy and theology, and one of the biggest things that I've learned about drawing comics is that it's more mental than anything. And it's something that they don't really talk about when it comes to making comics or doing anything that's creative. A lot of people don't talk about the mental aspect of things. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe they just don't think about that. Yeah, I don't know. But I feel like a lot of the creative things that we pursue, or a lot of things in general in life that we do or try to do, is about 55 to 60% mental, And what I mean by that is you have to make a conscious decision that you're going to do something. You you have to decide and make a choice. Um, when you want to be a comic book artist, for example, one of the biggest things that you got to do, one of the first things you got to do is draw and draw a lot. And that's something that I always got annoyed at, all these comic book pros and professionals and stuff like that. That's something that they all had in common. They'd be like, draw everything, draw this, draw. And that's such generic, terrible advice on the surface. But if you peel back the layers, it's actually brilliant advice because, you know, the biggest thing about drawing all the time is you're making drawing a habit. If you make drawing a habit, you're more likely to have a career in comics or commercial art because you'll be able to meet deadlines because you're constantly drawing. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of like, if you approach drawing comics or anything else in life where you just kind of do things when you feel like it, it's not going to work. Not in a commercial setting, where you got deadlines and stuff to meet. And so, that concept that I just explained, that's entirely a mental aspect. It starts with a mental aspect, a mental approach to this whole thing. And there's more stuff than just that. That's a kind of a mental game that you have to not so much play with yourself, but get your head in the right mind space. So I was wanting to do videos on that, or maybe I just sit and draw, and I try to share people a little bit of my. Everybody wants to watch me scratch my hand, my philosophy, because I think it is helpful, the philosophy of creative endeavors and making comics, and the philosophy in life in general, about pushing forward, when you have doubts and stuff. Like, for example, when I was drawing this, I did this thumbnail, and I know it's kind of hard to tell, but he's more squared going this way. There's his arms, there's his head, and pretty good looking thumbnail in my opinion. But when I went to go draw it, I couldn't get the pose to look right. And so I had like this 20-second crisis as an artist, as a whatever, to where like, oh man, this ain't working out right. I drew the head and I had the shoulders squared away, kind of a top bottom view. And eventually I just erased and I just started with the head and I just let it happen. And I think it turned out pretty good. Maybe it's not ideal, but it worked out, and like 3 or 4 years ago, I don't think I would have been able to do that, and just through constantly drawing and stuff like that, building up confidence and just learning to power through things and to work out my ideas on scrap pieces of paper and that sort of thing. Just these things that you learn along the way, and you only learn these things from just constantly drawing. And again, that 20-second moment of crisis and just mentally just working it out, so I like to do some videos about that, just the mental aspect of things. That's like, I really do believe that's 55 to 60% of doing this stuff. Let me answer some comments right quick. Most excellent friend writes, I'm currently doing the layouts for my comic, making sure that all the panels flow right and there's enough room for lettering before the artist commits to the pages. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. What's your comic book going to be about? What's it about? That's one of the things that I try to do, especially on this book. The prior comic that I drew, I didn't do that so much. Let's see. I don't really have any pages. Well, I do have pages handy, but just looking at the thumbnails, just like what you was kind of like talking about. I left space for all kinds of either dialogue or narration. Left space here for dialogue and dialogue, and maybe some more dialogue here if I really wanted it. Some camera. Nobody's got time for your foolishness. Dialogue, and then all kinds of dialogue through here, or even here. I don't know, wherever. but yeah, that's something that I've pretty much on this comic that I've really um, incorporated. Leaving big empty spaces here and there for room for dialogue, and that's something I just really incorporated in this comic. I'm kind of repeating myself, but in prior stuff I worked on, I didn't do too hot of a job on that. So I hear you on that. Let's see. The base concept was imagine if James Bond existed alongside superheroes, then evolved to a superhero vigilante spy action comic book. Well, that's pretty cool. Like that. If I got you on either Twitter or Minds or Facebook or anything like that, wherever you may know me from, if you feel like it, I'd like to see your stuff. Send it to me, or whatever. Some of the pages that you're working on. That is if you have time or if you feel like it or whatever. Uh, don't want to put you on the spot, but I like seeing people's stuff. You're a friend from Mines. Awesome. I enjoy Mines. I wished I could get more out of it. I feel like I don't utilize that enough. Okay. So what was I inking before? I don't even know. Oh yeah, I was inking this goofball thing. Yeah, that's what it was. I've also got into I don't know if you heard about this thing. I got into space hay. Space hay. And pretty much what it is, for those that don't know, there is a 20-year-old German coder who makes all kinds of different things. And one of the projects that he made was a MySpace clone. And I loved MySpace back in the day. MySpace was the bomb.com, in my opinion. And so he made a perfect clone, right down to the T, of MySpace, and it's called Space Hay. And it started out with, I think, like 200,000 users. It's only been a Space Hay's only been in operation for a year. Started out with 200,000 users, then it grew to 300,000, and to date, it's now has 400,000 users, and it's still growing. And that's pretty cool, And it's not really advertised or anything like that. It's just, I don't know. It's just out there doing its thing. It's pretty interesting that a lot of the people that are using Space Hay are like 16-year-olds and younger, and then a few old goats like me that just uh, miss MySpace. But I'm just so surprised that so many young people are using that platform, and they're really enjoying it and stuff. It's crazy. Menu writes, mine's is great. The pages aren't ready yet, but I'll be showing more off soon. I told my artist to take the holiday period off and kick back into gear in January. That's right. I wouldn't give them a break. I make them slave through it because that's how I am. I'd be like Scrooge, something straight. They cut their pay. Let's see. All right. Let me think here. Mm, kind of chickening out a little bit, getting to the stuff that I'm uncertain about when it comes to inking. But I need to man up. I need to do this. I need to get this stuff done. Here we go. We're taking this journey together. Didn't even use a ruler that time. That's how good I am. Boom, 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 boom. I want to mention this, and first of all, for anyone that is watching now live and may watch the replays later, I saw a excellent movie here recently. I promise that I will not give any spoilers at all, and whatsoever. A lot of people, talk about how they're not going to give spoilers and end up giving away stuff, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be extremely general. But I watched the new Spider-Man movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I recommend anyone that hasn't seen it, go watch it. And one cool thing, talking entirely in general, that I enjoyed about it is that Spider-Man was a hero. He did something truly heroic, in my opinion. You don't really see that often, maybe in comics or superhero stuff or whatever, or maybe I'm just not looking in the right places. And I'm not going to say what that thing is or whatever. I mean, you would expect that he would do something heroic, right? It's a superhero movie, but I really liked what they did with that. How basically they put him in a situation to where he had difficult choices to make, and really put him through the ringer to become Spider-Man. And that was one of the problems that I had with a lot of the newer Spider-Man movies. I mean, I did enjoy them, but he was always sort of like this Tony Stark sidekick. He's always this character that just kind of bumbles his way through things. And this film, talking entirely general, not revealing any details whatsoever, Spider-Man has to become a man, and really finally become Spider-Man. And I'm not going to say what that means or what that is or what that entails or anything like that, but he finally has to become Spider-Man. It's no more riding on the coattails of some other, adult superhero where he's being mentored and stuff like that. It's about him coming to a place to where now he is going to have to come into his own. And so I'm really looking forward to the next Spider-Man movie, whatever that, may be. I think that's going to be pretty cool. So for anyone that's not watched that, I highly recommend it. Um, my only cons about it is I just wish they added 10 more extra minutes for some really cool stuff that was in there. I'm not going to say what that is, but there's some really cool stuff that was in the movie that I wish they added 10 more minutes to kind of, flesh out stuff a little bit more, or give us more time with cool stuff. Let me put it that way. And let's see. So that was the only con that I can really think about. And and again, it's not like mind-blowingly awesome. I'm not going to say that it's going to be one of these movies where it's like The Matrix, where it changes cinema or anything like that. It's just a solid movie that I think is worth all your time and that you will enjoy. So that's my endorsement of the new Spider-Man movie. So if you've not watched it, go watch it. Try to avoid Facebook or any other social media because they will try to spoil it for you. And I don't know why people do that. I hate it when they put stuff in the thumbnails that kind of give away who's in the movie, or certain twist that's in the movie, or they just like, I hate that when people do that, where they assume like everybody has watched the movie already. Not everybody can afford, or can get off work or whatever the opening weekend to watch a new movie. And not everybody wants to go watch a movie in the opening weekend because some people don't like the crowds. But some people don't care. They want the clicks. They want the attention, that sort of thing. Let me answer this comment quickly. Menu writes, all right, friend, it's dinner time. It's 7 p.m. here. Good luck with the comic. I really appreciate you tuning in and everything like that. I'm glad that you was here, and good luck with your comic too. Hope to see you back here sometime soon, and get up with me on mines, anytime, man, and talk, hang out. So you have a good evening, sir. All right, so I don't feel like I've got much accomplished. I inked the table, a few doodads here. I've got this bottom part inked. I'm always running behind. I feel like I don't never get stuff done like I want to. All right, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna start inking this bottom part here. Let's see. How did I do this? Ooh. Okay. So far, so good. Yeah, I think it turned out fairly decent. I've kind of crossed over the border, but that's what whiteout and stuff's for. I like how I've chosen to ink this ground for some reason. It turned out pretty good. All right. Man, I got 5% left on my phone. So I guess it's time to end things. I do want to point out that I have a book here that you may find interesting. I've been getting threats from ninjas. Okay. Some ninjas have been challenging the power of Hapkido. And I'm just going to let you guys know that I know your tactics. Okay. I know all about your tactics. I got your book. I got your book. Ninja Shadow Hand, The Art of Invisibility by Dr. Ha Ha Lung and Christopher Prawant. Okay. I got your little manual here. Okay. You ninjas, you shinobis, you think you know everything. Got mind manipulation. Got these fine illustrations here. Look, I know all your tricks. You know, the ninja shadow hand, okay? The Garaka Laka Laka Jutsu, the art of avoidance, you know, the basics of seeing. I got that down pat. I know what you're doing. Here, I got pictures of eyeballs. I know how you use your eyes. Look here, you're showing how to hide a ball. You're little magicians. But you see, you know, look here. You try that on a Hapkido man. You try that on a Hapkido man. You grab his wrist. He's gonna break away, man. He's gonna break away. He's gonna slap that arm away. He's gonna break it in half. That's what a Hapkido man's gonna do. Okay, look at this stuff. Who you trying to pull? Trying to pull that on a Hapkido guy? That ain't gonna work. See, a Hapkido man's looking at him right now, staring him in the eyes. He's got that Korean power. It's gonna make him melt from head to toe. Think that tiger stance is gonna save you? It's not. I got your manual. I got your book, boy. I got your book right here. You try to do that in my house. I'm gonna find you, ninja man. That's right. Look at this stuff. You ain't fooling me. I got all the stuff about chi balls here. I know how you throw your chi balls. It ain't gonna work. See, you couldn't do that to a Hapkido man because we harden our bodies. You try to elbow us in the face, you're gonna break your elbow because we got Hapkido power. Look at that. Look at these. Look at these cheap ninja kicks. Ain't nothing. Now, you know, Hapkido would just, you know, roundhouse you into another universe. Look at that. Try that on a Hapkido man. He'd reverse that grip. She'll nagi you all over the place, brother. Never happened. This is a work of fiction. You try that on a Hapkido man. Focus camera. Look at this fantasy. Well, folks, we're at the end of the video. Thank you for tuning in. Just want to let you know, for all you ninjas out here, I got your manual. I know all your tricks. You ain't nothing. I got the Hapkido power. Until next time, I thank you for tuning in. This is CB Smallwood reminding you to be the tide that rises.